Good evening. As I told you, I will try on this English channel to explain to you in depth issues which affect our Bharat, issues which will be of importance to you so that you understand what is happening around you. And that is the whole purpose of doing it in depth on the English channel. The Hindi channel obviously would be for certain other purposes, but on English channel, I want to talk subjects which could be of knowledge and use to you. One of them I tweeted yesterday is how can a common man register an FIR without a lawyer? Or I should do on how to deal if a builder delays your flat possession. So those two would be of interest to you, and maybe in a couple of days I will do whichever one you have voted for. This English one being a small channel, I can be more interactive. I can take your inputs, I can take your feedback, and then I can be responsive to it. But this is only for knowledge based things and knowledge based issues. So in Bharat this week, I would be talking about firstly the Naxal issue that you saw, in which unfortunately we lost 22 of our brave, courageous, armed forces men who protect and guard us. How many are you? How many of you are aware of it? And the unfortunate part is this Naxal violence was not on the border that an enemy nation is targeting us. This Naxalism is domestic. No, I don't have any ifs and buts in saying it. This is domestic terror. That is the problem. This is done by Indians to Indians. That is the virus of this Naxalism. So I will talk a little bit about how it started and how this virus has spread. About my health, yes, I was about to talk on West Bengal elections. Very kind of you to ask my health. But then people said they don't want to talk about elections. So to speak on my experiences about this pandemic, my experiences on COVID, I am still positive. I will talk about it. My experiences. That would be a citizen voice. For anything expert, please, with folded hands, I tell you, talk to your doctors. I am a firm believer. When it is important topics, please talk to experts. So, with folded hands, I'm saying only talk to doctors on what to do. I can share my experiences and my opinions on it, that I can do. And I definitely will do. You are like family and you want us to talk on it. I will definitely talk on my experiences and how to cope with that, and about vaccinations also. And the third issue, if you want, if we have time, we will talk about Mumbai and what is happening with Sachin Vaze and all that entire thing. Today on the Hindi channel, you can go and see. I put out a video where the ED is saying how Sachin Vaze was using bark to extort money from them. That's shocking. A complainant effectively was under pressure, and that is why the various averments made by Arnab Goswami in his petition to the court, that's for investigative agencies to find out or the courts to decide upon. But all this coming out seems very, very, very disappointing as to what is happening in our systems. So now let me please talk about Naxalism, and so that you can understand what it is. And youngsters, please understand it. The majority of problem of Naxalism, I'm sorry to say, is coming from youth who gets misguided. That's the reality. On this, the onus lies on you, the youngsters of this country. You have to decide whether you want a democratic, strong Bharat, or you want a Bharat where violence, Naxalism rules the roost. It's actually on you. And by youth, I mean 18 to 25. That university crowd, the colleges crowd. It is absolutely on you. What is Naxalism? I will just tell you in one line. You know how much damage it's caused? 12,000 people. 12,000 people in the last 2 decades have lost their lives. Civilians, armed forces have lost their lives to this. Even one person losing his life to violence or terror is terrible. Here we are talking about 12,000 people. And if you add last 3 years, it would be around 15,000 people. 15,000. Why am I talking it this week? Just this week itself, 22 brave men lost their lives in an operation to uproot Naxals. Second part. Why do I say the onus lies on college people, college kids? Because the breeding ground, the intellectual breeding ground, very often is these nefarious, ultra left. See, left is okay. You may like left, you may not like left. That's your choice. I'm not getting into that. But this ultra left, it creates a small module in universities, and young students, 17, 18, when they come, it brainwashes them, it romanticizes the struggle using arms, it brainwashes them into it. And see, when a professor or an authority figure speaks, you sometimes listen. And they just need 1 or 2 or 5 people out of a class of 100. So you might feel, none of my friends believes this, none of my friends speaks like this, but they just need 5 out of 100. Right? That is why it is very important for you to know this. So what is Naxalism? Firstly, it has lost us almost 15,000 lives. I'm not talking about how many roads they have destroyed. I'm not talking about how they have stopped development in the areas they control. I'm not talking about how they do tax collection from the poor people in these areas. I'm not talking about all of that. I'm just saying physical lives. That is the damage they cause. How did it start? Well, it starts, as they always say, from extreme left, from communist Naxalbari in West Bengal. In 1967, it starts there. That's why the name Naxal, because it starts from a place called Naxalbari, which is a place in West Bengal where this armed uprising starts. Thankfully, in West Bengal, it's a lot less now. It's almost been wiped out there. So that's a good thing done by our security forces, including Indira Gandhi, 1971. She launched a famous operation, because 67 it started. In 71, she launched a famous operation called Steeplechase, if I'm not wrong. Let me just check, because I want to get it right for you. Yeah, Steeplechase, where it was a silent operation. Even written orders were not given, but they tried to wipe it out as much as they could from West Bengal. And this started because in 71, in the universities, these leftists managed to brainwash students and tell them how democracy and Indian state is oppressive. We have a democracy, let's be very honest. I said Indira Gandhi did something good here. We have a democracy where you can vote, and irrespective of your party, irrespective of affiliations, you can vote Lalu Yadav to power, and you voted him to power for 15 years, right? And that's your choice, because he led a movement which at its best was a movement for social justice. Whatever happened to it is yours. We all know what happened to it, and the corruption and all. You can vote a Narendra Modi to the highest office in the land, to the prime minister, whose start itself is well documented. He did not come from power. He did not come from a big family. Same way, you could make across India a person with who has no political backing, no family, no background, could be of any caste, any religion, to absolute power in the state or the country. That is the beauty of our democracy. And some people still try to destroy it. That is Naxalism. Because they believe Hindi. S.R. Patel ji, this is an English channel. I'm sorry if this is on Facebook also. I will try to remove it. But Hindi channel, I speak Hindi. English channel, I speak English. Because a lot of our fellow countrymen from the southern part of India, northeastern part of India, as well as from abroad say, English mein, I don't speak at all in English. So I said 2 separate channels. very completely. One would be this and one would be that. In fact, let me remove it from Facebook and I'll only be on YouTube. So if you're watching in English, because Facebook is also Hindi, please come to YouTube if you want to watch it. And I am removing it from the Facebook. Yeah. Okay. So as I was saying, now that we are on the Facebook, only on YouTube, let me talk about it. This movement of Naxals has now spread affected districts. I want you to see this, and then I will explain to you. Some people are saying do light chat. This channel is meant for knowledge. Towards the end, I will do light chat. If you want to stay till the end, I will obviously do light chat. When it's about COVID, I can do a lot of light chat, even though it's a serious issue, but I'm sharing my experiences, so I can talk lightly on that. But Naxals, we are losing our fellow citizens. That is not a topic I can speak lightly on. So we need to know about this, and especially youngsters. I keep repeating, youngsters need to know about this. Youngsters needs to learn about this. These are the Naxal affected districts. Can you see? This is 2007. The red is the most affected. Lighter red is lesser. This, if you see, is what is the pain point. And this is India. This is not border. At one time, Andhra Pradesh was really bearing the brunt of this. At one time, Jharkhand was really bearing the brunt of it, and lightly in West Bengal, lightly in Bihar, except some parts were obviously very strongly affected. This is 2007, and in this, I must say, even the Congress Prime Minister, not Congress, Indian Prime Minister coming from Congress, Dr. Manmohan Singh, he also said Naxalism is the gravest threat to India. What is their aim? That's a good question. By who? Richie Sinha. The aim is they believe that by guns and violence, they want to overthrow elected government of India. Now, my question is, what is elected government of India? Sometimes it's Congress, sometimes it's UPA, sometimes it's BJP. You want to change the government, vote, change it. But they know 99%, no, not 90, 99.99% of Indians are patriotic, are nationalistic. They know they can change any government by vote. They changed the Gandhi family rule by Prime Minister Modi. If they want to change the Prime Minister, they will vote somebody else. Could be from BJP, could be from some other party. That freedom we have, no? You want, you vote. As I said, you wanted, you voted Lalu Prasad Yadav. You wanted, you voted Nitish Kumar. You wanted, you voted Akhilesh Yadav. You wanted, you voted Mayawati. You wanted, you voted BJP. You wanted, you vote Yogi. It's your choice, man. Vote anything. The problem is, and you see in the map, this is what they were doing. This is what they were doing. And now let me show you something else. Even the Prime Minister, and I'm repeating that, Prime Minister, this is not a party thing, because actually Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was very firm on this. He said Naxalism is the greatest threat to India. The greatest threat to India. Even he acknowledged it. So this is not about parties also. All parties and democracies, in a democracy, know their aim, since you asked me, is this. They want to remove the government of India. And the government of India could be any government. 2004, it was one government. 2009, it was another government. Another in the sense, leftist communists were not a part of it. 2014 is a completely different government. 2019 is an extension of that government. 2024, you people will decide what you want. But Naxals say, by violence, we will remove it. So that is what their aim is. They want to destroy the Indian state, since you're asking the aims. Second part. Second part is what happens in and how do they spread? Do you know recently a person called G. Sai Baba from Delhi University was arrested for his links with Maoist. This person, G. and Sai Baba, This person arrested in 2014 and has now been convicted in 2017. Convicted. So this is not just an arrest, it's a court deciding that yes, and he's been given life imprisonment. That in a university, a professor, that's why I told you that's the danger. That's the danger. That in a university, a professor is inculcating young minds. They identify one, two, three people out of a batch of 100. That's 3%, whom they brainwash into saying Indian government is atrocious, it does atrocities, it is taking your rights away, it is destroying your rights, it is a government of capitalists, it's a government of people who have no sympathy for the poor, and all that nonsense. And they want to lead an armed revolution. Armed revolution. That is why I said 22 of our brave brothers have died protecting us. Protecting us. What are they doing? Why did they lose their lives? And in the territory of India, not border. This is not, I repeat, this is not China or Pakistan or any border conflict. This is in the heart, as I showed you the map. Let me show it to you 1 second more. 2007, you can see the affected areas. Can you see the affected areas in 2007? You can see this. The district affected, 51, severely, moderately, marginally targeted, 90 plus. This entire belt is entire corridor. And you understand the risk to national security. If we are having a conflict with Pakistan and this entire area, our armed forces are tied down, can you understand the grave risk? That is the problem. Thankfully, let me give you a good news now. This is 2007. You've seen it? Thankfully, the good news is this. See how much it has changed in 2013. That's why I said in this, it is not BJP Congress. This is irrespective of party. This is democracy. In 2003, can you see how much it has improved? 12 severely, from 30, 62 to 16. And now you see, you hardly see the bad, bloody red, except in Jharkhand and parts of Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh is thankfully completely clean. West Bengal thankfully has no red zones. Odisha has almost no red zones. So we must be thankful for that. We must appreciate that. And this has been done by our security forces. This has been done. And if possible, for 30 seconds towards the end, please pray for all these sources who lost their lives, whose family members have lost them. 22. Sounds like just a number. 22 people. One person in your family gets affected with COVID, it will spoil your brain, it will give you so much tension. These are 22 brave men who are no longer in this world. Silently, whose names also most of us don't know, who have lost their life, unfortunately, in India. And one of the most affected areas is Chhattisgarh. Hopefully, like Andhra Pradesh, we have cleaned it up. Calcutta or West Bengal has magnificently managed to reduce it. Same way, I hope Chhattisgarh, which is the most affected, will get cleaned up and we will see normal map like we see Madhya Pradesh or UP or Gujarat or Jaipur here also. So this is the movement. And as I told you in universities, that is why I speak against Tukde gang. Why? That is why I read an article where it was said that Naxalbari ka Lal Salam. And this is not recent. It's a 2010 article. In JNU, some people used to say this. Naxalbari ka Lal Salam. Naxalbari is what? Start of the movement of Naxalites. Or they would say, Naxalbari ek hi rasta. This is something written in 2010. JNU, nothing to do with BJP, nothing to do with NDA, nothing to do with The certain people in JNU who believe that BJP doesn't like JNU. Nothing to do with them. This is, I'm talking 2010 article. 2010 article, right? And Manmohan Singh also, the Prime Minister, said they are the biggest risk to our nation. That's a reality. Solution to this is, it's actually all you youngsters, choose any party you want to. I keep repeating, you might have favorites, you may not have favorites. But all parties who come to power through voting is a legitimate exercise. I could disagree with your political choice, you could disagree with my political choice, you must do that. But armed revolution to overthrow the state, and then what happens after that? These people will come to power with a gun, and then there is no democracy. Because if they come to power with a gun, they will maintain power with a gun. Today, you don't like a politician, you can use any language to him. In my comment section, I hear any sort of language to all politicians, left or right. That's your choice. If they come with a gun, then you won't be able to change them also, because there will be no voting. Would you pick up a gun to change them? Where is the solution? There is no solution. So if you ask me practically, you ask me logically, what are the aims of Naxals? Can it lead to something good? No. There is no aims of it. There is no good it can lead. They are just violent terrorists. And with terrorists, you have no logic. That's a fact. Now let me come to the other part, which you wanted to talk to me about. This is a little lighter, and we can talk about it. COVID, what to do? I am still suffering from it. And if you ask me, I think there are 150,000 cases today. 150,000. That's higher than any point in the original COVID. In the second wave, 150,000 cases. And as a doctor told me, again the sad part, he said even if we go with a mortality rate of 2%, 1.7 or 1.8 is going on, that means with 1.5 lakh cases, that means 3,000 people, roughly around 2%, will not recover in this. 3,000 people will not recover. That's just today's numbers. 1.8, 1.7, whatever is the mortality rate. That's the reality. Think about it. Second, yes, I am feeling better. In fact, I had a very light case. This also I need to tell you. I had a light case where I honestly talked to a doctor, and initially it was don't even get tested. I am a little cautious, so I got tested. But I was initially advised don't even get tested. Wait 2-3 days, and then we will see. Because your symptoms are so light, you jog, you are fit, you're not in the dangerous age group, so don't. I, being overcautious, got myself tested. That what's the harm? Well, it came positive. Some days are bad, obviously, because you are in a quarantine, it affects your mind. Sometimes you don't know what to do, especially people like me who are very, very busy people. I like to keep myself busy, right? If we are talking on this issue, let me talk. I'm a person who goes to courts, who's on media, who's on social media, who does a lot of involved in various social causes, various political causes. So being in a room is not easy, but it is much better than being outside and getting infected. It's much better being outside and getting a disease. So my experience, talk to your doctor, but my experience, if you feel the symptoms, if you feel any symptom, like me, I was told that initially it used to be dry cough. I never had dry cough. Not a day of dry cough. Right? I've also been told for some people there is a lot of body pain. I didn't have body pain. And my lower back, anyways, pains me sometimes. I have back issues. But in this, nothing. So even if I have a sensitive back, that reminds me, even if I have sensitive back, still I didn't feel back pain. So these things, but if you feel feverish, if you feel any symptom that you read, do get tested for the not only for yourself, so that you don't spread it to other people. So you don't spread it to other people. That's a good question. Sir, talk on China, project of China building a dam. See, that is my problem. There are two people. I think that's why I'm doing this on English. On Hindi, there are two audiences now. Those who want live conversation, who want chit chat. Then there are those who want to seriously understand issues. That's a problem which I am facing. So I do not know how to satisfy both extremes. On this English channel, I will, like you asked me a question, on this English channel, I will talk about in my whatever lightness I can add. I anyways believe you should add so that complex issues don't become very boring. But here I can speak only knowledgeable stuff. So all your friends, please tell them, those who want to understand that, like you ask me how to register an FIR, or with a lot of people face that. I get a lot of messages, inboxes, which my team tells me. I don't read them, but my team tells me on inbox. I keep on getting people who feel they're affected by system, or there is a crime committed against them and they don't know what the solution is. So I will do a talk on how, as a common man, without the expense of a lawyer, you can do it. Anyways, the reason I said about COVID, and I'll come to the vaccine now, to get tested is, don't spread it to your friend circle, don't spread it to your professional circle, don't spread it to your family. That's the reason, even if you have light symptoms. Because we are having, you don't know, you might be having light symptoms, but if you give it to somebody, that person might have a serious symptom. And you should not be responsible for giving it. As much as you can try, as much as you can try. It's spreading like crazy. My reading is, if they are saying 1.5 lakhs is the official numbers, it is way, way, way higher. Believe you me, it's way higher. This I can tell from my experience. Secondly, when you ask me about vaccines, again, I said, please talk to your doctors. They know the best. I am not a doctor. I'm only talking from my experience. What's the option we have? I am a conservative Indian. I told you, I have conservative medically. In my entire life, I've never had one sleeping pill. In my entire life, in this modern living, every second person who's in a high stress profession I know has, very often they have sleeping pills, very light ones. I have never touched one. I have never touched what is called, some people I know, a lot of people in my circle, my age, younger than me, anxiety meds. I have never touched it. Never in my life I have touched it. I know a lot of people who feel low, or what is called mild depression is a strong word, but low, and they have light, very light pills given by doctors. If you go to a doctor and you keep saying, I'm feeling low, they will obviously medically treat you. I have never had that in my life. Okay. So I'm a very conservative person. 5-6 years ago, I used to have major back issues. I jogged, I exercised, I strengthened my back. I never had painkillers. Bad day, maybe one painkiller. That also the light ones, which are normal painkillers. Nothing with, the strong ones. Jo you get from chemist over the counter, that sort of a. So I am not very pro having medicines personally. Even when I used to have back issues or knee issues, because I used to jog a lot, then I stopped jogging, and then knee issues started. This is 5-6 years ago. Touch wood, today I don't have any, except sometimes back stiffens up. I didn't have it. So why am I saying please get vaccinated? Because in this thing, in this crisis, you have to go with the medical opinion. What is the option? What is the option you have? Please tell me. What's the option? Thank you. I like sharing with you. That's why I'm doing it on English. So what is the option you have? Yeah, I agree, Mukul. Actual number of people affected is way. I'm telling you my experience. I was told not to get tested. So if I didn't get tested, I wouldn't be a number. And if I recovered, I won't be a number. So I'm just giving you from my own experience. Then there are those people, this is a tough thing, I'll tell you. There are those people who do not get tested because they think in mild symptoms that if we get tested, we will be forced to be in a quarantine. Some of them have economic necessities. They believe they have to go to work to earn. Some of them, because they say we are feeling fine, why should we be stuck at home? So there are enough people who don't get tested even with symptoms. What to do? They are spreading it. What to do? So as a person, I am not Kritika. I'm not getting into Kritika Hegde. I'm not getting into what meds to have or not to have. I'm not a doctor. Yeah, talk to doctors. They will tell you. But enough people go to doctors, and if you are diagnosed for feeling anxiety or anything, that's for doctors to decide. It's not for me or you to decide. Yeah. I'm just saying, as an example, I'm a conservative person who doesn't like to take medicines. I avoid it to the nth degree because I grew up where my grandmother was ghar ka nuskas, like a lot of Indian families, and not very pro of notification नहीं आ रहा. आप लोगों को okay, this is new because in Hindi channel I used to say it very often. After you click on the bell icon, you have to subscribe and then click on the bell icon for notifications, as far as I remember. So please do that. So don't take it lightly. As I told you, 1.5 lakh people getting infected means 3,000 as per the current numbers will not recover. That's just the data. That's not me. That's the data. Right? 3,000 in a day. If tomorrow it's 2 lakh, that could mean 4,000, right? At 2% or 1.7 or 1.8. That is how bad it is. So please don't take it lightly. So a person like me who is very reluctant to have meds, I had every med told to me by doctor. No discussions, no using of brains, because this is not a disease which the world is used to. I'm not trying to, and when you ask me, are doctors absolutely right? Is vaccination helpful? Is it not helpful? My counter question is this. I'm not qualified. You are not qualified. We don't have enough knowledge. We have to go with medical experts, no? We don't have enough knowledge. So when we don't have enough knowledge, please trust the experts. Don't try to be an expert yourself. Don't try to see. Now this is Arkdeep. That's a different name. Okay, Mr. Banerjee, you ask me this question and let me answer this question to you. I put it on, right? Firstly, I don't agree with the number that during smallpox, 100 out of 190 did. But if you have checked the number, I don't agree with it. I don't think so. It would be there, but I have not checked it, obviously, because you're asking me a question on the spur of the moment, and I'm not a doctor. Please understand, I'm not saying lockdown should be there or not. I am not saying that lockdowns are the only solution, because I do understand that there are enough people who need to earn, who have a compulsion to earn daily to feed themselves. In fact, 90% of India would come into that. Maybe 95% of India would come into that you need to earn to feed yourself. Right? So I'm not saying go for crazy lockdowns, but I am saying that as much as possible for you, yourself, think you are in a lockdown, only go for urgent things, only go for things you have no option to go. Our courts have again shut down. Just giving you one example. They've again shut down across states, many states, right? They have shut down again. Because maybe it will take a month, maybe it will take 2 months, maybe it will take 3 months, maybe it will take 6 months. I also can't predict that. You can't predict that. We can't predict that. But do you realize if you are ill, we are facing a shortage of beds. We are facing a shortage of medicines. And I'm not talking about political parties here. It's about your life. It's about your family's life. It's about what can you do to reduce the risk to your life. I will end the COVID topic on just saying this. What can you do to reduce the risk? That's all that's in your hand. Rest is all God. Keep thinking what can you do to reduce the risk. Secondly, I am pro vaccination because when it is a difficult situation, you have to trust a doctor who knows his subject. And it's not 40% doctors saying this, 60% doctors saying that. This is almost every doctor I know saying get vaccinated. Right? It's like when you go to a lawyer with a case, you have to trust the lawyer, especially if all lawyers tell you the same thing. Or if you go to an architect, you have to trust him when he says that if we build it like this, the building will collapse because he knows it. Trust professionals. Don't try to think that you know it all. I, Karan, don't know it all. You don't know it all. Trust doctors. Trust them. They are doing a yeoman service, like our armed forces are doing, like our doctors are doing. And now, how to? Okay, this is a nice topic. This is a light topic. I can do that. Depsmita, how to overcome depression. Should I share with you what I do when I feel? Every human being feels low. So anybody who says he doesn't feel low ever is a liar. We all can feel low at different stages of life. Could be because you feel, if you're in school, you feel you are not scoring enough marks. How would you get into college? If you are in college, how would you get a job? You could be in a relationship. You could be having trouble with your brother, sister, partner, wife, mother, parents, any relationship. Uh, you could be having health issues, you could be having financial issues, so anybody can feel low. My solution, very simply, what? Okay, I don't know this number, 4200. 4200 यार बलदेव जी, मुझे पता नहीं आपकी क्या एज है, तो मैं इसलिए कई बार यार करके बोल देता हूँ बड़े सिंपल लैंग्वेज में. ये मैं इसका, आप ये समझो, प्लीज समझो, कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरी से अपना नहीं फायदा होगा इसमें. मैं तो अपनी ओपिनियन दे रहा हूँ. कोविड में आप अगर उसको कॉन्स्पिरेसी मान लोगे, यार बीमार हो रहे हैं ना, सॉरी आई एम स्पीकिंग हिंदी, पीपल आर गेटिंग इल, नो, chest scans are showing it, no, blood tests are showing it, no. So how is it a conspiracy? Please tell me this. I will take this question. Is it fair for a PM to address huge rallies in morning and talk about social distancing in the evening? You ask me, I think all rallies should be called off now. Everybody has a phone. All these political parties have, what do you call it, WhatsApp numbers and data numbers and TV numbers. Personally, I think you should. But the problem is, can you implement it? Would people believe it? Would it become political? Everything becomes political. That's very difficult to answer. This epidemic doesn't have very simple questions. Now, may I come back to the question of what you do if you're feeling low? I've spoken for 40 minutes. You know what? This is how I used to start in lockdown. On that Hindi channel, for those of you who've joined now, this is what I used to do. I started on April 12th, I think. I was on Twitter first. 4-5 days, 10 days, I did on Twitter. Then from Twitter, I came to YouTube. So I'm actually enjoying that I can have interactive sessions with you, and I can talk with you. So my last answer I will give you, even though I think I should do a separate session on depression that you're asking, especially it affects a lot of people. They admit it, sometimes they don't. My one solution, and I will do a long talk on this if you want to, is go for small victories. What do I mean by go for small victories? Generally, when you feel depressed, you feel helpless, you feel things are not going well for you, you have some tension. Some tension. As I told you, family, finance, health, relationship, work, anything. It's when you feel things are not going well for you, if you feel things are, and I told you, 2 lawyers I know, 2 lawyers did, I tweeted also about one. because the first one I didn't tweet. He was like a bhaiya. He had really very helpful guy, late 40s, maybe 50-year-old, very helpful guy. And the other one, another friend, colleague at the bar, two people. So yes, that's the thing. But the solution I would say is this for me is yeah, depression is different than feeling low. I know. And Nuti, I completely agree with you. I'm just saying feeling low is very natural. Depression is obviously a very different stage. I'm saying my solution to this entire family of emotions, from feeling low to then there are various stages going upwards to it. Obviously, it's different. Is go for a small victory. Example, if and it does not need to be connected. Supposing your work life is not doing well and you feel you're not making enough money, right? And that is making you feel bad or low, right? Then what you should do is find any one topic, make a target on that topic, and have a small victory. By that I mean, tell yourself that you can achieve things. Sometimes in work, you're not able to achieve what you want to achieve. It's your time is not right, or your effort is wrong, or something is not going right, right? So then, for example, say I will make a target of running 5 kilometers. If you have never run 5 kilometers in your life, that target has nothing to do with your work. It will not give you one naya paisa. But if you manage to achieve that, it will give your brain a sense of achievement. It will give your brain a sense of control. It will give your brain a sense of, I can do things. And once that brain starts responding to, I can do things, I can achieve things, small victory, as I said, nothing connected with your work, but you see how it will put you into a different frame of mind, into a completely different frame of mind. Or it could be you like to play guitar. Say, I will play this song, I will master this song. A small victory, because winning is a habit. Small victories, teeny weeny victories lead to bigger victories, because your brain then starts responding to victory. That is very important. So I would just say, if you are feeling not so great, try to aim for small victories. If it's a serious, as a lot of people are saying it, I know that if it's a serious problem of depression, then obviously you have to go to a doctor. That only a doctor can tell you what to do, right? Then you have to, I am a firm believer in going to experts. But I am talking about a much lighter stage where you feel things are not going for you. Aim for a small victory that will change your state of mind. Small victories lead to big victories, need not be in connected fields. I've spoken for 45 minutes. I hope you enjoyed Bharat this week, and we discussed two serious issues, Naxal violence as well as COVID, and some light talk on, even though that's also a serious topic. So if you like it, I'll try to keep coming here and explain topics which are of interest and knowledge. And if you're watching it for the first time, you have to click the notifications on after the bell icon is subscribed. Thank you.